It's Mari McInerney from Croaky here at the end of the ASMIRT NZ conference here in Adelaide. And I have the immediate past president, Carolyn Heyes, here. We're making this a tradition. Carolyn, can you just introduce yourself to everybody again?
So my name's Carolyn Heyes. I'm the immediate past president of ASMIRT. I've been on the board for a very, very long time, and I'm actually a diagnostic radiographer. I work at the Children's Hospital in Melbourne.
Thank you. Now, as you've said, you've been on the board for a long time. You've been in the leadership role throughout COVID and all of that. What do you look for achievements to recognise from your time in the leadership and/or frustrations?
Achievements. So I took over at the end of COVID, but yes, I was vice president during COVID. Achievements, I think I'm very much a soft skills person, I have to say. So our relationship with the NZIMRT is amazing. They are such a wonderful bunch of people, and we call ourselves sister societies because we're so close. Sorry, guys. And I think the achievements have been building relationships with a lot of other things. We've definitely started to build a really good relationship with the Nuclear Medicine Society of Australia and New Zealand, and they're an amazing bunch of people as well and very generous with their time. And the other things that we've started to get going, we've got a few working parties that are happening, working with the unions to try and get parity across wages over all of the states, not just wages but conditions. And just for example, in Victoria, if you get your fellowship of ASMIRT, you can get paid a higher qualification allowance for that, just as you would for other postgrad studies, but you don't get paid that in other states. Well, that's crazy. It should be recommended everywhere. So we're trying to get parity, not just in wages, but in conditions, so that if you do need to change from one state to another, you hopefully will move with exactly what you've got, rather than going, oh, I don't get this anymore, and I'm on a conference leave. Again, in some states you automatically get conference leave, in others you have to jump through hoops and actually go to your CEO or higher to be allowed to attend a conference, which again, attending a conference is such an integral part of your continual professional development that everyone should be able to attend at some stage when they have a chance. Other achievements? Well, we're just starting in our learning management platform, which will be great when it gets going, so it gives everybody, no matter where you are or what hours you work, a chance to access CPD in an easy manner. So if you can't get to a conference or a local education event, that's there. What other achievements have we got? Frustrations. Let's do frustrations, because some of them are achievements too. Placement poverty and the total apathy from the federal government about that to do anything to assist our students. We've now started to offer some bursaries. It's only to 10% of fourth year students. That's all we can afford to do at the moment, but we're at least able to offer them a chance to get some money to help them with their placement, so we don't lose them from the profession. So that's a frustration as well as an achievement. Other frustrations are the lack of recognition within our ward and in different departments of advanced practitioners. So advanced practitioner status is amazing. These people that become advanced practitioners have put in a lot of work to get where they are, and if they happen to change employers, they may not be recognised anymore as an advanced practitioner, and that is really difficult given what they've done. So again, a frustration, and that's something that we're hoping the unions may be able to get included into our EBA, remembering that we are the professional body, not the industrial body, and so we work very closely, and that's another achievement. We do work very closely with the unions now, which I think is great, that we're all working collectively for the greater good of the profession, which in the long run is the greater good for our patients and the public.
How would you rate how the profession, or the medical radiation sciences professions, are at the moment?
We're in a really good space in the quality of what we deliver. I think we are an amazing bunch of professionals, and we care about our patients, and we work really hard about that. However, the recognition of what we do from some other health professions and from sometimes the general public is very difficult. And I must admit, the students are all taught to introduce themselves. Hi, I'm your Carolyn. I'm your Carolyn. Hi, I'm Carolyn. I'm your radiographer. I'm going to be taking your x-rays today. I never said that, and I've recently brought that into my vernacular, and it's very interesting to then have a patient turn around and say, oh, you're a so you're not a nurse. No, we're not a nurse, we're a discrete profession, and what we do is very difficult. So I think we're still working hard to get recognition amongst the general public, but can I actually say that the latest statistics show that 97% of people who attend a public hospital interact with a medical radiation professional. They might 100% might interact with nurses, but 97% is pretty high. So we need to make sure that we raise our profile a bit more, and that little thing about introducing yourself as your profession, not just I'm going to take your x-rays today or I'm going to do your treatment today, I think is really important to go that way. We also have recently got onto, I can't think of the name, but it's a platform for students to go onto. I think Explore Careers. So we have some videos on there of a radiation therapist and a medical imaging technologist telling what they do for high school students to look at, to see, and if nothing else, it will raise our profile again. There is a nuclear medicine video coming out. It's in the final stages of editing now, so hopefully that will be on that platform too very soon. So in a way, even if we don't attract more students into the course, and to be perfectly honest, we do get quite a lot of students, our courses are full, but it just raises the profile of the profession again, because someone will say, oh, I considered doing that because they saw it on Explore Careers.
What about scope of practice type issues and the allied health pathway? There have been really big inquiries underway in this term of government. Have you seen any movement that makes you hopeful, encouraged?
Not really. Sorry, but scope of practice, whenever they look at the scope of practice for us, what they tend to be looking at is for us to, from a radiographer point of view, to be commenting, from an RT point of view, looking at planning. And I think there's so much more that we can do in various ways. There's physio practitioners that work in emergency. Why can't we do that? And in rural areas, there's so much more we could do besides just our core profession. So there is some work afoot, but I think we have to work very hard to get past the other professions that are protecting their turf.
That brings us then perhaps to the federal election in a month away. Calls to action to either party, to the Teals, to the other parties, anything?
It's time to actually recognise that there are other people that work in health besides the doctors and nurses, and I'm not putting them down because they are wonderful professions themselves, but when you're considering what's going on, how about you consider the others? And like I said, 97% of patients interact with us. So do you not think that you should be looking into what we're doing? Look at our placement poverty, look at our advanced practice. Actually be willing to meet with us and interact with us. Thank you, the one minister that we wrote to about placement poverty that didn't get back to us until January, and the other two that have not bothered to speak to us. I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. So how about you start taking other professions seriously? Allied health professionals make up the second largest group of health practitioners behind nurses. Yes, we are a collective group of collective professions, but we are all vital for as vital for the patient's health and well-being as our doctors and nurses are.
Thank you, Carolyn. Are there any other words you'd like to speak as you've come to the end of your term, the end of another conference? We're on the cusp of a new government, whatever that'll be. Anything you'd like to say to the broader public health community?
I am hopeful that we can continue to grow and raise our profile and work with our other allied health professions just to continue improving our patient care, because that's our job. And hopefully with the introduction of AI, as we've learned a lot about in this conference, we will hopefully be able to win the battle, and the time that we save by using AI can be going into our patient care rather than just churning through with extra patients.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.